So let's just all take a deep breath together. Wherever we are, bringing ourselves here and present to wherever we are. Taking a couple of deep breaths in and out. Just noticing how we're feeling, sitting where we are. This poem called These Days by Charles Olson. Whatever you have to say, leave the roots on. Let them dangle and the dirt, just to make clear where they come from. Whatever you have to say, leave the roots on. Let them dangle and the dirt, just to make clear where they come from. There's a lot of dirt on the things we have to say these days. There are a lot of hard things that we're needing to say. And it's good for all of us to make clear where these things come from. So my name is Redwing. I'm a nurse educator with the MERI Center for Palliative Care Education at UCSF. Some days I consider myself a poet. Most days I consider myself a midwife to the dying, among other things. Doing these workshops in person was one of our goals for the MERI Center for this spring, but then as everyone, we had to change all of our ideas of what we were doing this spring. So I'm thrilled to be able to offer this in this Zoom platform. Those of you who were on the call last week, thank you for joining again. I already feel like we've got a little group going on, so that's exciting. And those of you who were not here last week, that's fine too. What we will do is quickly go around again and just introduce yourself with your name, where you are right now in the world, because the amazing thing is that people are in many different places. And the question I'd like you to answer today as we go around is, are you someone who has ever dealt with a serious illness, either in yourself or taking care of someone as a caregiver? I asked the question about serious illness and caregiving partly because when we originally were going to do these sessions, it was through the Cancer Center at UCSF in relation to Art for Recovery, which is another art program of using the arts. And then we just decided to open it up to anyone and everyone because of these crazy times in the world where I believe that poetry is one of the things that helps us through these difficult times, partly because it surprises us, partly because it really allows us to access different ways to express the things that we're going through. And right now we are all going through different things, whether we have had our own diagnosis or not. Just to level the playing field, to say that in the last 7 years, I have gone through cancer treatment twice. And I'm happy to feel very healthy right now. And yet that reality of being in the high risk group because of having had a diagnosis is an odd feeling. And I also think that poetry is one of the ways that we can find guides for our own healing. I'm wondering if we can just go around again quickly and have everyone really just say one word that best describes how you're feeling right now this morning. And I will start by saying I'm actually feeling hopeful today. I'm going to ask you for just 1 minute to use that word that you said and write something. A few lines, whatever comes out. Just, I'm going to give you a 1 minute write using that word that was your morning word. And I will ring the bell after 1 minute. All right, it was a fast one, but would anyone like to share what they just wrote? So there's no such thing as cheating here. You know, if you get really inspired to keep writing or to have something else come through or to write something completely different than what the suggestion is, just do it. This is our hour to just let things through us, really. I'm going to read you this poem by Mona Santacroce called Don't Just Stand There. Don't just stand there with your hair turning gray. Soon enough the seas will sink your little island. So while there is still the illusion of time, set out for another shore. No sense packing a bag. You won't be able to lift it into the boat. Give away all your collections. Take only new seeds and an old stick. Send out some prayers on the wind before you sail. Don't be afraid. Someone knows you're coming. An extra fish has been salted.
That was great. Who wrote that?
A woman named Mona Santacroce. And I'm wondering if there's a line that jumped out at you.
Could you read it again?
Okay, I will. Don't just stand there with your hair turning gray. Soon enough, the seas will sink your little island. So while there is still the illusion of time, set out for another shore. No sense packing a bag. You won't be able to lift it into your boat. Give away all your collections. Take only new seeds and an old stick. Send out some prayers on the wind before you sail. Don't be afraid. Someone knows you're coming. An extra fish has been salted. Is there a line that jumps out at you? So I'd like to offer us for a prompt for a little bit longer write, like we'll write for about another 3 minutes, and to either use the prompt from this poem of don't just stand there, ... or else don't be afraid. Whichever prompt resonates. And again, If there's something else coming through you that you'd rather write in this moment, that's fine too. But the prompts are, don't just stand there, or don't be afraid. And we'll write for 3 minutes. So just kind of wrap up where you are in the writing, knowing that if it's something you are meant to come back to, you will. Is anyone willing to share some of the words that came through them? Misha, that some people are photographing the sky and the sunsets on a regular basis, and just I'm so touched by how we are all documenting the world around us in ways that we don't take the time to most of the time. So I have one other poem I wanted to read today, and this is a poem by John Fox, who is an amazing poet who I studied with for a couple of years in a program called Poetic Medicine. and where I really learned about the use of poetry as
Oh.
a healing modality. And this poem is called When Someone Deeply Listens to You. When someone deeply listens to you, it's like holding out a dented cup you've had since childhood and watching it fill up with cold, fresh water. When it balances on the top of the brim, you are understood. When it overflows and touches your skin, you are loved. When someone deeply listens to you, the room where you stay starts a new life, and the place where you wrote your first poem begins to glow in your mind's eye. It is as if gold has been discovered. When someone deeply listens to you, your bare feet are on the earth, and a beloved land that seemed distant is now at home within you. A beloved land that seemed distant is now at home within you. I'd love us to take 2 minutes to use whatever word or line in that poem jumped out at you. If you can't think of one, you can use When Someone Deeply Listens to Me. And just write for a couple of minutes. So I know 2 minutes isn't very long, but again, it's always surprising what does come out in 2 minutes. Is there someone who would like to share what just came through? So I'm aware that it's a little bit after 12. I'm going to close with the same poem I opened with. Whatever you have to say, leave the roots on. Let them dangle. and the dirt, just to make clear where they come from. Please allow yourselves to say what you ever have to say, to feel what you have to feel in these crazy times where each of us are still going through our own realities of health and wellness and everything else that's going on in our lives. But in this universe where we are connected to everyone by this suffering, and what a reality that is that we are all living in. So please be gentle with yourselves, and thank you for joining this and for allowing yourself to open to words that come through you and share them with each other, because I'm just so aware of how each of us speaks what's in all of our hearts in slightly different ways, which is always so wonderful to hear. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, just please take really good care of yourselves. Thank you for showing up here. It's really wonderful to see all your faces and to feel people from all these different places. And Susan, I just love it that you're so far away and you're right here, just like all the rest of us. So blessings.